So the Democrats are actually, my God, earning their keep. They're taking some swings. They're making the Republicans come out and stand by their rhetoric. They're making them vote with their rhetoric. Let's have a quick look at this. Check this out right now. Here's a bill put forth at the end of last month that I think is worthy of highlighting. This is from Pramila Jayapal, co-sponsored by Ed Markey. And it is the introduction of a trans Bill of Rights. I'm just going to straight up read the press release here for you, folks. Once we confirm that the mic is on. Yeah, it is. Good. Neat. U.S. Representative Pramila Jayapal, U.S. Senator Edward Markey, that's a Democrat from Washington and from Maryland, and Representative Sarah Jacobs, Mark Pocan, Mark Takano, and David Cicilline are reintroducing the Transgender Bill of Rights amidst unprecedented attacks on trans rights. This resolution provides a comprehensive policy framework to provide protections for transgender and non-binary people, ensuring that everyone has the opportunity to thrive regardless of their gender identity or expression. Day after day, we see a constant onslaught of anti-trans rhetoric and legislation coming from elected officials. Today, we say enough is enough, said Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal, co-chair of the Transgender Equality Task Force. Our Trans Bill of Rights says clearly to the trans community across the country that we see you and we will stand with you to ensure you are protected and given the dignity and respect that every person should have. With this resolution, we salute the resilience and courage of trans people across our country and outline a clear vision of what we must do in Congress in order to allow trans people to lead full, happy lives as their authentic selves. So look, this is not just talk. It is truly an outline. And it's an outline, which it probably won't surprise you to hear, to be truly effective requires we provide the people who want to enact this with the backup to do it, with the numbers, to get the votes. 2024, people. This is the sort of thing we could make happen. Ensuring that the Trans Bill of Rights calls on the federal government to provide protections for transgender and non-binary people. By the way, thank you for including the non-binary people as well. Ensuring that transgender and non-binary people have equal access to services and public accommodations by amending the Civil Rights Act of 1964 to explicitly include gender identity and sex characteristics as protected characteristics, and amending federal education laws to explicitly clarify that they protect students from discrimination based on gender identity and sex characteristics. Ensuring transgender and non-binary people have the ability to provide for themselves and their families by codifying Bostock, and clarifying that it is illegal to discriminate in employment, housing, and credit based on gender identity and sex characteristics. Hell yes. Ensuring every child has the right to grow up in a supportive environment by having their authentic identity respected in the classroom. Ensuring that they can participate in school sports with their peers, and ensuring access to an inclusive curriculum. Recognizing the right to bodily autonomy and ethical health care by expanding access to gender-affirming medical care, codifying the right to abortion and contraception. Look at that, folks. Codifying the right to abortion and contraception. Protecting transgender people from discrimination in health care, and banning forced surgery on intersex children and infants in violation of ethical standards of care. Interesting little tidbit there. I'm not entirely sure how to read that last part. I don't know what practice it refers to, but based on the other things I'm seeing in this bill so far, I'm leaning towards not being concerned about it. Promoting the safety of trans and non-binary people. Also, yeah, it seems obvious to me. Promoting the safety of trans and non-binary people by investing in community services. Excuse me. I mean, it doesn't seem obvious to me, but I trust it. Promoting the safety of trans and non-binary people by investing in community services to prevent violence against trans and non-binary people, and expanding services for survivors. Investing in mental health services designed for transgender and non-binary people, and banning so-called conversion therapy practices. Hell yes. Finally, enforcing the civil rights of transgender people by requiring the Attorney General to designate a liaison within the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice dedicated to advising and overseeing enforcement of the civil rights of transgender people. Look, legislation isn't going to go anywhere in 2023. But now we see what a significant coalition of Democrats are willing to do. Let's talk about it on the other side. Let's see what the Wicked community has to say. My biggest question is, how does anyone know, says Wicked Foxy Dragon, what someone identifies as? I mean, if you are trans, don't you dress as the gender you identify with? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Generally speaking, I think what this bill does functionally is something that Republicans, if they truly lived by the principles they claimed to have, at least when I was growing up, Republicans should be 100% behind. Which is to say, it allows parents and children basically to decide what the children's health care will be amongst themselves. And it prevents these extreme practices that we know to be harmful, such as the conversion therapy, which is just kiddie torture. That's all it ends up being. Whatever the intentions were, however these misguided intentions are imagined by the people that carry it out, the reality is torture for kids. So, I mean, what can you do to make this happen? The layup. You got to give these people the power to enact this. What we see here is something that a group of Democratic politicians are saying they are willing to fight for. These specific things, they say, they're willing to fight for. It's like a laundry list of stuff a progressive would generally want. So the answer is to give them what they need. Be ready. Be prepared. Make 2024 now a goal we are going to rush towards. 2024 could be yet another election where we just barely keep the country going, where we manage to get just enough Democrats in power that Republicans aren't able to pull off a total dismantling of the way of life in the United States. They aren't able to convert America into a fascist Christian theocracy. Is what they're out and out doing right now. And it's not it's not an exaggeration. Texas, Florida, where Republicans are thoroughly in control, you have anti-American activity as the norm. 2024 can end that forever. If there is just a blue tidal wave in 2024, that's the end of either MAGA or the Republican Party as a whole. If it becomes clear amongst the MAGA crew that their policy set is a guaranteed way to lose, they'll just change their policy set. Maybe. If they were savvy enough, they might do that. But then that's the sort of thing you would have heard 20, 25 years ago. Now, maybe not. In which case, that is the end of the Republican Party. But it certainly spells the end for this struggle for democracy. If we, the people, deliver a strong message in 2024. So the way we save America, literally, is the same way that we get this transgender Bill of Rights passed. We give folks like Pramila Jayapal and Ed Markey the numbers they need to enact truly progressive legislation. Register to vote, vote. Make sure you vote in primaries. Go as far to the left as you can. They will be better representatives for the people. It genuinely is that simple. It ain't easy, but it is that simple.